Are you looking for a show about California? Have you ever had a penchant for pecs? Ever dreamt of watching a Californian band where the band don't actually play their instruments? Well, I can make your Californian dreams come true. California Dreams, your one-stop shop for sun, fun, bums, toes, and drums.
Hi, I'm Bridget and I'm back. Now, I've always felt sorry for the show. Once dubbed a Saved by the Bell ripoff, let's just say it was not the most critically acclaimed. However, did you know that the cast were nominated for the Young Artist Award in 1993? No, they didn't win, but that's beside the point. California Dreams was about some teenagers who formed a band in California. And that's it. That's the premise of the show. But you know what? It's actually not that bad. And despite its lukewarm reception, it did actually run for 5 seasons, which is really not bad. And to top it off, the theme tune is, in my opinion, one of the best theme tunes of all time. Not of teen drama shows, I mean of all time. Roll the tape. Now, I was going to just pick a random episode, but instead I decided to pick the pilot episode. The pilot episode is usually a bit hit or miss because obviously the writers, directors and actors are just finding their feet. But actually, this one really isn't that bad. So the show starts with a typical all-American, or should I say all-white American family sitting down to have breakfast together, which, you know, okay, it's a bit basic, it's a bit unoriginal, but it is what it is. Okay, so my first observation is Jenny, the daughter, is giving us a look. No crumbs, she ate. But whilst Jenny is giving us looks, fashion, what she's not giving us is 15 or 16 years old. In fact, none of them are. Matt is looking like an uncle. Jenny's looking like an aunt, but we are where we are. So the family is sitting down to breakfast and the dad is reading a newspaper. And every single time one of the kids enters, they snatch the newspaper from the dad's hands, which is hella disrespectful and could never happen in a black family. Can you imagine Uncle Phil dealing with this kind of bullshit? Not on his watch. So there's 3 siblings, Jenny, Matt and Dennis. Dennis, the youngest of the children, makes the most out-of-pocket comment I've ever heard.
But Dad, I thought you wanted me to take an interest in reading. Oh well, I guess I'll just become a terrorist.
This is his entrance. This is the pilot episode. Eek. I do not think that humour would fly at all in 2024, but hey. We then meet Matt. I actually don't know which sibling's older because, like I said, both Jenny and Matt are giving 37, but Matt's definitely giving dweeb vibes.
Yeah. Hey, come on, leave Dad alone. Don't knock his dream.
And he comes down the stairs defending his dad, which begs the question, how on earth did he hear the conversation from all the way upstairs? Anyway, the way he snatches the paper from his dad is wild. So we understand straight away that the 2 siblings are in a band, presumably with some other people. And Matt is a lot more serious about it than Jenny because when he talks about wanting to rehearse, she's just on about wanting to go shopping with her friends. Cue annoying neighbour Sly.
Good morning, neighbors. And let your day start right because Sly's in sight.
Think Tia and Tamara's Roger.
Go home, Roger.
Anyway, he comes in while they're having breakfast, starts flirting inappropriately with Jenny whilst the parents are there. She knocks him back, further cementing him as an annoying neighbour stroke friend. Don't mind his cow print waistcoat at all. That can run. So the boys, the lads, the mandem, as in Sly and Matty, head to the diner, which is obviously like the local teenagers hangout, and it's called Sharky's. Cute name. Sly saying to Matt that he really wants to be the band's manager, but Matt is absolutely not having any of it. Now, one thing I'll say so far that I noticed, the characters are actually really well defined and the acting is pretty decent. I was kind of pleasantly surprised, although not too pleasantly, because what have I got to critique if I haven't got anything bad to say about it? But don't worry, it's coming. That train is never late. Because then we meet Tony, who is black. Now, I'm putting black in inverted commas because this is obviously what old white people in the 90s thought being black was. Basically, being black was, if you weren't a gangster, that is, was to be smooth and like get all the ladies and be a bit of a ladies' man. Next up is Tiffany, who is a blonde surfer chick. And she comes in with her surfboard just so we could off the bat know who she is, what she's about. I vaguely remember Tiffany, and I always remember wanting more neck from her. Maybe she could borrow some of Todd's neck from Sweet Valley High. Honestly, I'm being a dick. It's just the way that they've styled her hair, but they continue to style her hair like this all the way through the seasons. Anyway, she's cute. So Matt, the dweeb guy, is interested in this random girl called Randy Joe, which is the most 90s Californian teen name I can think of. She is blonde, tick, and rich, tick. And she comes over to their table and ultimately she brings the acting level down from an 8.5 to a 2. Anyway, Matt doesn't seem to mind, but he's crushing on her hard and he's struggling to get his words out. She's heard about their band, California Dreams, and she's really intrigued and she wants to hear them play. And they invite her to a rehearsal. So Randy Joe, the random girl, turns up to their band practice and they play a song for her. Without plugging any of their instruments in. But to be fair, the song is pretty decent. The song actually slaps. The crowd goes wild, etc., etc. And it turns out that Randy Joe actually wants the band to play at her Sweet 16 party that she's holding at her parents' yacht club. Ooh. And she wants them to play this upcoming Friday. And Sly jumps in and he's like, yeah, that's cool and that's cool and whatever, but it's going to cost you $250. She doesn't even bat an eyelid. And to be absolutely frank, I've just worked out what this would be by today's standard. For a band that's never played a gig, that's actually not bad. And I don't know why they don't want Sly to be their manager, because I wouldn't mind Sly managing me. So the kids are super hype, and they run home to tell their parents, which is strange because they literally, they could be in college and I don't understand what business of the parents it is that they've got a gig, but it's cute. And they run home and it's their mum that's in and they tell her and she's really happy for them. And then their dad comes home. And this is where we need to introduce conflict.
Introducing conflict. In every episode of a TV show, there needs to be conflict in order for there to be a resolution so that the audience may remain satisfied.
So in this case, the conflict is that their dad comes home to tell them that he has finally bought tickets for them all as a family to go and see the Grand Canyon this Friday. Now, what is completely bizarre to me is the kids that were rude enough to snatch their dad's paper out of his hands in the morning are too scared to tell their dad that they've got a gig. It doesn't really make sense, but okay. And all they would have to do is explain that though they're super grateful for the tickets, they've actually just been booked for a fire gig, but they decide that they just can't do it. And so they head back to band practice to break the news to the rest of the band. What I am loving about this show so far is it's giving diverse locations. We've had the family home, we've had Sharky's Diner, we've had a garage, a rehearsal space. It's giving moneyed. So the band are really disappointed. They're like, no, you need to tell your dad that you're doing this gig. So the kids decide that they want to tell their mum to tell their dad because they're too scared to, which is really bizarre because he literally seems like the most chill dad ever. He let you snatch the paper out of his hands like several times. Anyway, the mum refuses. So they come up with another plan to ask Randy Joe to move her party, which is, by the sounds of it, already kind of organized, to another Friday. In what world? Absolutely not. Could never be me. So Matt somehow ends up going on a date with Randy Joe, maybe because she saw him sing and play and was like, I want to be a groupie. And on that date, he's supposed to ask her if she can move her party. But he doesn't manage to do that because she's so hot and he couldn't handle it. Okay. So after much nonsense and going back and forth, he finally manages to tell his dad that they do have a gig booked this Friday. And his dad, as suspected, is not mad at all because it's really not that deep. But because of his dad's perfectly normal and reasonable reaction, Matt then ends up feeling really guilty about this. And then the siblings decide again that they cannot play this gig and that they have to go to the Grand Canyon. The band, of course, are not thrilled. Tony lets us know again that he is black.
Are you kidding? When I tell that big, mean, gig wrecking, move this family out the ghetto to have a better life popsicle head, that I'm going to the Grand Canyon.
Hey, you know what? At least he doesn't rap in the band. Small mercies. I'll take it. Sly says to the band that he reckons he can make it work so that they can play the gig and still go to the Grand Canyon because he says he can get them a later flight. And what happens next is, Trey, interesting. He manages to convince this South Asian family that in exchange for their tickets to the Grand Canyon, which is later, he can introduce them to the band Van Halen. I haven't quite put my finger on why this is so offensive, but it was the 90s, so my racist senses are definitely triggered. So Van Halen just ends up being the kids dressed in these really bad wigs, but the Asian family are really happy about it. Absolutely insulting. The family don't seem to notice nor mind, but then Matt decides that he can't carry on with the charades because he's a goody two-shoes, and he takes off his wig. Again, the Asian family don't seem to mind, and they just decide that Van Halen must have worn a wig. Actually, I read somewhere that the actor who plays Matt wanted his character to be less of a goody two-shoes, but the writers and directors were like, no, that's literally how he's gonna stay a dweeb, take it or leave it, and obviously he's an actor that needs to eat, so he took it, which is obviously better than being an unemployed actor. Take it from me, 10 out of 10 would not recommend. So the kids now have the later flights to the Grand Canyon, and they manage to play Randy Joe's Sweet 16 party, which is a great success. And they end up playing the encore, which happens to be the theme song for the entire series. Good vibrations, feeling mellow, won't give it up, don't want to stop. California dream, just let me lay here in until my dream is done. I'm sorry, that's actually iconic behaviour. I don't know if they ran out of writing, but do you know what? It actually works, and it's really cute, and it's a cute way to end, and also the song slaps. At the end, the band realise that Sly is actually a sick manager and decide to hire him. And so begins the journey of the band. I have to say, I did not hate this at all. The writing, pretty solid. The acting was decent. And most importantly, Jenny's outfits are a 10 out of 10 across the board. 10s across the board. The characters of colour definitely need improving. I won't hold my breath. Anyway, if you want more of this kind of mayhem, then be sure to tune in next week. I'm definitely enjoying doing these videos again. They're so dumb and so much fun to make. So do check in with me next week for another video. In the meantime, you can check out more of my teen dramas in this Teen Dramarama playlist. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye. If you want more videos of teenage drama, teenage shows, subscribe.